Welcome to Shift Chats, Conversations with Ashlyn. Welcome to Shift Chats. We have a very, very special guest today. She calls me Auntie.
It's my auntie. She ain't that old, y'all.
Right. Well, you know, I claim my 50. I'll be out here telling the people.
You not look 50.
And they even got hashtags for us now. Like hashtags 50 and fine and all that. So
You 50 and fine.
thank you.
50 and fine.
So I'm gonna let you get started by introducing yourself. You had asked me, could you bring some Palo Santo? So I'm gonna let you share, what that's about. Cause I was like, girl, I got some Palo Santo. Like, what you
I'm
mean?
like, look, can I?
But it can be very personal. So I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
share with the people, and then we'll get started.
So Palo is the smell of it, the way that it just cleanses my energy. It settles me. It helps ground me. It's one of my tools. You have sage, you have Palo incense. I love incense.
Yes.
I think it's just whatever season I'm in, I'll gravitate to whichever. I'm sure it's deeper than that. I'm sure an actual spiritualist can tell me
Right.
that it's deeper than that, but I go based off of how I feel.
Right.
And so I'm gravitated back to,
That's okay.
like that. Can I get it?
Yes.
Is this going to be cut?
It might be a blooper.
Oh, it would be me.
It's okay.
But yeah, so I know whenever I'm gravitated towards Palo, I am in like a deep spiritual area of my life.
Yeah.
And so I can feel it in my energy. I can feel it by the way that I'm starting to eat again. I can feel it by how soft I speak again.
Right.
I could just feel it. So that's the longer story of why I use Palo.
I love it. I love that for you.
Yeah. So I'm going to spark this real quick.
Yeah. So I guess we could say it's kind of a grounding, right? A way of grounding. And I always say, like, to each his own. Like, I don't want people to watch and they're like, oh, we got to burn some Palo or some sage or, these are things that we do for us. So,
Right.
and I was definitely open to her burning some Palo because I do this before I meditate each and every time. So,
Yeah, it's your spiritual hygiene. I just tweeted today. I'm like, okay, we taking baths and we taking showers every day, but how are you cleansing
Right.
yourself spiritually?
yeah,
You go out into the world every single day and you open yourself up to so many different energies, even in your house
right,
with who you may live with. They may not be spiritually cleansing themselves
right.
enough,
Yeah,
so you have to put that armor on and that protection.
absolutely.
And that's a part of my protection.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm being honest, like you said, you don't need to go and burn Palo tonight if that's not what
Right.
if that's not what you're led to do. Don't do it.
Right.
And that's how I go about my life. Just go about what you're led to do.
Yeah.
And so, I hadn't burned Palo since probably a year,
Okay.
and I had a sense yesterday. My intuition was like, "Go get some Palo." Okay, I'm gonna go get some Palo.
Right.
I don't know why. I'm gonna go listen and get me some Palo.
Exactly. I love that.
So,
Yeah. So introduce yourself. Tell us, Ashlyn. Tell us a little bit about you.
my name is Ashlyn. I was given a spiritual name, 9, which is also my stage name, my poetry name. And I like to think of myself as a creative. I wanted to ask people today, like, what do you say when people say, introduce yourself?
Right.
Like, how do you categorize something so divine and such a spiritual being, because I have began to really see myself as God.
Right.
See myself as an imitation of God.
Right.
So how do I categorize that? How do I put words onto that? So that question used to be really hard for me.
Yeah.
And I used to think, oh, well, maybe I just don't know myself yet. And maybe that was true. I probably didn't fully know myself. But
Always growing, never grown.
Look, never grown. But it's easier now to say that I'm Ashlyn.
Right.
I'm 9. I'm like you said, always growing, never growing. I'm a creative.
Right.
However God leads me to create is how I'm going to create.
I
Through
love
makeup,
that.
through poetry, through a podcast, my voice, my body, yoga.
Yes.
Like, it's just however God leads me to create.
Right.
That's who I am.
Right. I feel like that's been a resounding, first of all, thank you for that. And I feel like that's kind of been a resounding sentiment across the board here lately since I've been doing the podcast. It's just like, be who you are. Like the authenticity of, we don't want to be put in a box, right? Because we can be more than one thing. I'm hoping that people are getting that message, because it's really important to know that you don't have to just be one thing. You do have to be smart about it.
You have to be smart.
You do have to, orchestrate some type of planning, but we know that it is God's plan, but we do have to orchestrate. We have to do the work behind what is being put into us, right?
It's important.
Because it is in us, not on us.
It's in us, not on us.
That part.
Yeah. But I think that that's very important, especially when you have somebody who is multi-talented. I think we all are multi-talented. So we all have different gifts. It's just, how are you going to use those gifts?
Right.
And so with you being smart about it, I think, like you said, you have to do the work that it takes to monetize, or to just do that for fun.
Right. Yeah.
To play with it.
Yeah.
Not every one of your gifts should be monetized. Maybe you need to keep that sacred for you.
Right.
And God. Now, if you want to monetize it, if you feel like that's something that you can make money off of,
Right.
or receive money from, then do it, but it's always a matter of you actually putting the work in. And one of the things that I love is we're waiting on God, but God is waiting on you.
Oh, let's just hold on and sit on that for one. Whew. I mean, we could end the podcast, right? Yeah.
You're waiting on God, but God is waiting on you. And I had to really sit with that, because it was years of me. I'm rambling. But
No, you're not at all. This is beautiful. I love it. Yeah.
But I had to sit with that, because it was years of me. I didn't know that I was subconsciously waiting on something outside of myself. But it's what we're taught through religion. You're taught that God is outside of you. And now, granted, it is an energy bigger than you.
Yeah.
But you came from that energy, which means that it's within you.
Right. Yeah.
God is within you. You will not fall.
Right.
It's in the scripture.
Yes. You're right. Yeah. I talk about that all the time with my children, and I started out by saying, you call me auntie. I love it. And even with my clients, and just this conversation around, like, there's this work that has to be done that only you can do, right? Because he's going to give you, right? Like you're saying, the talent, he's going to give you really the things that you need. And it's up to you to then nurture, right? And be disciplined and work through getting to the next level, the next thing, right? And by doing that and being intentional about that is kind of where you start to see the fruits. And it's funny because, we were talking earlier and I was saying I'm going to get emotional.
Let me start crying.
I got tissue. Look, that's it's going to be hashtag I got tissue. Because I've watched you since we've met. And I remember, I got to tell this story because I remember you had called me a little while ago and you were like, can I be your assistant? Like, I need a job. And I was like, no, because I saw so much more in you than being my assistant. You know what I'm saying? And I was like saying to myself, like, she don't even see what I can see just in that time. We had only had a few encounters. I think I had done your podcast.
Yeah.
I think I had, it was something else I think you had did my makeup one time. And I was like, no, girl, you cannot be my assistant.
She told me no.
Rejection. Right.
Is redirection.
Let's talk about it. Go ahead. I'll
Rejection is redirection.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that you felt that way until you told me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you told me no because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm grateful because I'm a total different person.
Yeah.
Because of that no.
Mm-hmm.
And because of many other no's after that.
Right.
I was in survival mode. I had people in my ear saying, you need to get a job. You need to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And God will confirm clear through strangers. Ashlyn, don't get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet. I need you to focus on your gifts. I need you
Right.
to nurture
Mm-hmm.
your gifts.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to be consistent.
Right.
I need you to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to cater to yourself spiritually
Yeah.
so that you can have enough energy to do the work.
Right.
You know? And why you got me doing this? It's too early.
I know we just getting started, honey,
But I'm immensely grateful for that no. If it wasn't for that no, I probably would be trying to work a job. Nothing's wrong with jobs.
right.
It's your season when, I had a job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want to say that I won't get another one,
Right.
but it's not in the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what God wants me to do right now.
Right.
Because I'm able to help more people in the avenues that God has me in right now.
Right.
And that no caused me to surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Because no will have you put your back up against the wall. Like,
Right.
okay, God, if not this, then what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I have to survive.
Yeah.
I have to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
I have a degree, and I'm
Right.
not doing anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
I have certifications under my belt, not doing anything
Right.
with it. When I could be, everybody else is able to live life
Right.
with a job
Mm-hmm.
freely,
Right.
go out on the weekends, redo it again. I can't
Mm-hmm.
live that life.
Right. Yeah.
There's consequences,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual consequences.
Right. But you had to sit in that, though. I feel
I
like
had to sit in it.
Yeah, because like you're saying, and we just had this conversation about me sharing with you why I said no.
Yeah.
Because I don't think at the time when you heard the no, what did you hear?
When I heard the no, it's like, okay, let me try to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't work for her because I didn't consider that like an actual job. So I can't go work for her. Now I need to go apply on Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Applying for multiple jobs, many jobs.
Right.
Decline. Not accepted. Not accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm trying. I'm putting in the effort.
Right.
I got to go tell my mama, I'm putting in a job application.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, Ashley, you need to get a job. I'm going
Right.
to be completely honest. My mama words out her mouth is, get your shit together.
Right.
I don't know if I could curse.
Yes.
That's my mama words. Ashley, you need to get your shit together.
Right.
You know now what her words are? Ashlyn, instead of go get a job, because she's witnessed God move through me to other people
Mm-hmm.
on stage,
Mm-hmm.
it's Ashlyn, you need to go be a songwriter.
Mm.
Ashlyn, why don't you go and perform here?
Right.
Ashlyn, you need to write a book.
Yeah. Because I remember some conversations we had about you sometimes not necessarily feeling supported by your family.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to an event and witnessed your family come out in some
Pulled
big
up.
numbers. So I'm so happy for you that people started to see kind of what I saw from the first time I met you.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's different, I think, from the family side of it when they, obviously they know more about you, right, than I did at the time. So I think, that's the parental structure. Like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. But I definitely think we have to get in the mindset of like nurturing, right, who people are, what their gifts are, from an early age.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, let your kids run rampant.
That's not what she said.
But I think there is a way to structure it so that, you can be nurturing and supportive, to your children as they're figuring things out. You know what I'm saying?
It's important because you see them trying to, I think Eckhart Tolle said this in a book, The Mastery of Love. No, not Eckhart Tolle, somebody else, The Master of Love.
Mm-hmm.
You see your child, say you come home from a long day of work and your child is playing with your guitar or your piano, your favorite instrument.
Right.
And you get mad at that child. And
Why
you might beat that
I
child.
paid $5,000.
I did da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hold on, let me teach you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me nurture this curiosity.
Right.
Because curiosity and creativity is hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow that to run wild within a
Right.
child, who knows what could
Right.
happen, you know? And so I think specifically my mom, and it may be other people's parents or your family, they see it in you. They know your potential.
Right.
But they can only view you from their perspective of themselves. They can only view you from their perspective
That
of
is
themselves.
so real. Yeah.
So if it's not real to them, if they don't think that they can achieve it,
right.
then why would I think that you can?
Right. Because they have those limits. Like they've put limits on themselves.
Limits.
And then they try to put them on.
So now it's like, okay, my mom has experienced how people receive me with my poetry.
Right.
She experienced people coming up to me crying. She's experienced people following me and, you know, like literally waiting in the line to
Right.
talk to me. So she's like, whoa, this is what you're supposed to
Right.
do.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful.
So I wish that upon all the creatives. We
Yeah.
are creatives. Like
Right.
I wish that level of acceptance, and no, you should not search for acceptance outside of yourself.
Right.
So that was the biggest lesson. It's like, Ashlyn, you have to accept you and your gifts first.
Right.
Like you said, I didn't see myself. I didn't see myself at
Yeah.
all. I had to see me clearly through the lens of God. Not through the lens of my mama.
Right.
Not through the lens of my aunts, my cousins, my daddy,
Right.
whoever, teachers, through the lens of God.
I love that for you. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Okay. Listen, we could go on for hours and hours, y'all. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. We'll continue to go through just kind of, you know. So this first question: what role does mindset play in entrepreneurship, and how do you cultivate a positive and resilient mindset?
What role does it play? For when your mind is going to control everything that you do, a healthy mind, a stable mind, that's what's going to control it. So it depends on how you're feeding yourself outside of entrepreneurship.
Right.
Your spiritual bank, is it full? I think the Hood Hitler was talking about that. Like, you have to nurture that spiritual bank before you
Right.
can even try to put forth energy towards your business.
Right.
Because every time that you try in your business and you're running on empty and you're
Right.
deficient,
Right.
it's going to fail.
Yeah.
Each time.
Yeah.
So I had to realize that I had to incorporate my spiritual practices, which also foster a healthy mind into my daily routine. As long as I incorporate that into my daily routine, then the entrepreneurship
Right.
it's easy.
It's a
you know,
easy
and I'm
flow.
still learning
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And that's interesting you say that, because I don't think, you know, we getting a little deep, honey, because I don't know if the people was prepared for today.
I don't know.
Because I haven't discussed it in that angle, you know, in the past. And it really is, you know, sometimes I think people like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, right? And they think about, like, I feel like when COVID happened, we know. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, it changed people's mindset and thoughts about, like, oh, I can make my own living, or I can, and not understanding that was really part of a survival process that people were going through, right? And I remember having this conversation with my kids, who obviously were all at home because it was that time and stuff was shut down. And I was like, we need to be, and this was early on, and they can attest to this. I said, we need to be thinking about, what do we need to be using this time for? Because we need to be using this time right now, because something later is going to come from what we're doing in this time right now. Right? So working out, we were juicing, meditating, you know, like we had this whole thing that we were doing, you know, coming out on the other side, it makes sense now. Right. But for people
does.
who were just on social media all day,
Depressed,
not
sitting there.
depressed, not trying to, like we still can eat, we still have a home, we still, our basic needs were met. And I don't think for people who weren't spiritually in tune or in tune at all picked up on that, right? Which is why we are kind of where we are right now. But that's a whole nother.
Yeah, no. That's very true, because you could have folded during the pandemic. You could have folded. Now, if you chose the higher route,
Right.
chose to keep your frequency high, your vibrations high, then you came out of it with a little debris.
Yeah.
But it didn't really phase your spirit.
Yeah.
And, I guess we can transition into that. Whenever I broke my teeth, y'all.
You can't just say that and not tell the people the story on how you broke your teeth. Come on.
Whenever
now.
I say that, people be like, hold on. You can't just skate over.
Oh, right. Because I feel like you were in a not so good space, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct to say you were not in a great space when that situation happened? So tell the people.
So I broke my teeth. I fell getting over a gate, and I thought I could fly, and I just planted teeth first.
We need a little bit more backstory. Were you hanging out? Had you been drinking?
I was outside.
You was outside. Okay, y'all. She was outside.
Being completely transparent, I was outside. Y'all. I was outside. But leading up to that, honestly, I had signs that something was about to happen. I didn't know what, and I kept telling my people, my cousin, I'm like, something's about to happen. And normally when I feel that, because I can feel when death is happening.
Okay.
But I could never distinguish between like, oh, someone's about to transition or something good is about to happen. But I get like a strong feeling. So it was death. Like, it cultivated a whole rebirth.
It was the death of the old Ashlyn into 9.
No, for real.
I know. I saw it.
A whole new person.
I saw it with my own eyes.
Like, it was like a light switch. But
oh, Jesus. Help us, Lord.
It was definitely a death of Ashlyn into 9. And 9, if you know about the number 9 is a number of completion. I felt like cycles of self-sabotage. I completed that. Even if I try to go back now, I can't.
Right.
It'll take maybe a day, and it's like, oh, back
we're
on
not
it.
Doing that. Yeah.
Back on routine. But I say that it was a death and rebirth situation because you grow up with your teeth. Like, I had never had any other teeth in my mouth. So, and I loved my teeth.
Right.
I love my smile. And I had to redefine myself and what beauty was to me.
Right.
Because I could smile and get in the door anywhere. I could, pretty privilege. Oh, okay.
Is that vanity, right? Yeah.
But now I'm trying not to smile because I'm hiding my broken teeth. So that in itself fostered 9. And 9, I wouldn't say is a personality. It's my higher self.
Yeah. I like it.
And whenever I'm on stage, I'm able to really bask in and sit in 9.
Yeah.
I had broke my teeth and I was just sitting in the house. Like, this was after it was funny. At first it was funny.
Yeah.
At first I was just laughing. I was like,
we talked,
joking about it. Like, it was extremely, we did talk, and I appreciate you for that. It was extremely funny. So one day God was like, Ashlyn, get up and write. I hadn't gotten up like months. Now, I could have gotten my teeth done. My papa was going to pay for it. Like, it could have been done, but God was like, no. Got up at 5 o'clock that morning, wrote, and started. I wrote a whole poem. I wrote a whole poem. 5 o'clock that morning, I wrote a whole poem. first time I've ever written a poem on my own.
Right.
Whenever I was in school, you would have to write poems, and they would tell you the types of poems.
And the
I would
soliloquies
fail.
and the whatever. Yeah.
Y'all, I failed every single time that I tried to write a poem. I failed. I got an F.
Okay.
Because I couldn't do it. It was the hardest thing for me. But it was because of the standards and the you can't do it like this.
And it has to rhyme, and it has to
and this line has to go with this line. You know, it didn't leave any room for my creativity.
Right.
So when God told me to get up and write, I'm like, oh, this was in me.
Wow. And you heard the voice clear.
Clear.
Because I think it's important, because I've had that now happen a few times. And we hear our friend like Tabitha Brown talking about all the time. We hear the hood healer. And she doesn't necessarily reference it, but if you listen to her talk, you know that somebody is speaking through her, right? You can call them whoever you want to.
Whoever, whatever.
But I think when that happens, like when you're able to sit and receive that, it's such a powerful thing. So just speak to that just a little bit about how you said you heard. Because people want to know, like, what is it? What does he sound like? What is it? You know.
I would say it's a feeling. It's like an inner knowing, like something told me to. Oh, I should have. But you get into the practice of closing that gap of something told me to, 5 minutes now has passed and something told me to, rather than a day passes and something told me to yesterday. Right. So the gap just gets closer and closer.
I love that explanation.
It's a spiritual muscle. You know, I had to work this muscle to be able to hear that voice clearly or feel that voice clearly. And the more that you sit outside, the more that you sit in stillness, the more that you meditate, the more that you drink water, the more that you listen to the impulse of, maybe I should go to this park today. You don't even know, you just going to that park has sparked something spiritually, ripples of spiritual growth, or what, you don't know what's happening in the spiritual realm, so you have to listen. So I listened, and it changed my life. If I wouldn't have listened,
so is there a poem called The Broken Teeth?
So it's Through the Cracks.
Through the Cracks. Okay.
And Through the Cracks came from, I literally had broken teeth. So it was through the cracks of my mouth in which I was allowing God to speak through me.
I love that.
You know, it was really dark on the inside. And everybody who would come up to me, they would say, Ashlyn, you shining through. I'm like, oh, I am still shining through my cracks.
Yeah.
So I called my mama. True story. I called my mama. I said, Mama, I wrote a poem. You want to listen? I recited it to her. I said, yeah. And I'm going to do this on stage with my teeth like this. She was like, Ashlyn, please don't. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it on stage with my teeth like this. Like, God is telling me to do it on stage with my teeth like this. And I said, whenever I do it, I'm going to shout you out and say, y'all. Say, hey, Ashley over there. Just to embarrass her, you know. Because she told me don't do it. But I went and I did it. And everybody crying in the crowd, clapping. My mama crying. Her wife's crying. My cousins are like, everybody just felt it. Because it came from my spirit. And whenever I cracked my teeth, the first thing, you can ask my cousin, I told her, baby, my spirit is not broken. My teeth are broken. But my spirit is not broken. Unwavering.
And it was so powerful to watch. Let me just say that. Because I watched you, like, make your videos. And I was like, this girl is killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people don't understand that you have to share the story of the journey. And that's where other people get the healing. That's where other people get to see you. You know what I'm saying? So when I was like, I'm so happy she's doing this for her. Like, I don't even think you were consciously knowing that it was for you to get to where you are right now.
You know.
Right? Like you telling you, because I think you did like you was doing something like every day or like every other day you were like getting on talking and sharing like
with my teeth cracked,
with your teeth cracked. Like this is my journey of, you know what I'm saying? Like that was so powerful.
It was difficult.
Yeah. I know it was for you.
It took strength.
Yeah.
Because I had just started to be consistent on social media.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I'm like, it's about to take me out the game.
People gonna see, yeah.
You know? And I've always been that way with my journey. One thing my mama told me, I remember crying to her. I was probably in 9th grade in high school. And I was crying to her about something that probably doesn't even matter anymore. Right. And I'm just boo-hooing to her. And I'm like, Mom, why has my life been so difficult? At that time, I'm 15.
Right.
None of my peers, at least they're not sharing.
Yeah.
That their life has been this difficult.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like I'm alone because no one is talking about it. So she told me in the car, she said, Ashlyn, the reason why it's so difficult is because your story is going to be able to heal so many other people. It's going to heal people.
Right.
And I'm sure as I went on to share more of my life, she wanted to bite her tongue off for telling me that. But I'm not going back on that.
Right. But then that goes back to kind of what we were saying before about the limits that other people will put on you.
Yeah.
That's not for you. That's their limit. Yeah.
Because me exposing my truths, it exposes other people's truths as well.
Well, you know, even wrote a whole book, so.
Right. In that book, geez, that book, The Shift, it taught me that it's literally just a shift. It's a switch. We make it so hard. We make it so difficult. It's a switch in mindset, a shift in mindset, a shift in how you move, a shift in how you think about yourself, a shift in how you think about others, and how you think other people are thinking about you, their perception of you.
Yeah.
How you feel someone is thinking about you, 9 times out of 10 they are, but it's because that's what you're reflecting back to them. That shift, baby.
Come on now.
I was reading that in Atlanta before I went to go get my teeth done. I was at a coffee shop and I started reading that book. Listen to the urge. God told me to bring that book. You gave me that book a year ago.
Right.
A year and a half ago maybe. Opened it and it literally helped me to switch my whole entire life. I had someone ask me, they was like, Ashlyn, like you said, I noticed the switch. What happened? I surrendered.
Right.
I surrendered to my negative patterns, my beliefs about myself. I laid it all out.
Right.
This is how I feel about me. Is it true? No.
Right.
This is how I think about others in my life. Is it true? No.
Right.
I feel like I don't have any support. Is it true? No. Anything I post now, people under it retweeting, reposting.
Right.
But when I thought that I didn't have the support, that was reflected right back to me.
Yeah. Nobody
was retweeting. Nobody was reposting.
Yeah. People don't understand the power of your thoughts. Okay, we're going to have to wrap this up. Okay, so first question. What's one piece of wisdom or a mantra that you live by and would like to share with our listeners?
One mantra that I live by is you have to go within to truly know who you are and who others are.
I love that.
I feel like we all have a safe space within ourselves. You can find solace within yourself. You don't have to go looking for validation in other people. You don't have to go looking for it in your parents. Although they've provided it for you, or maybe they didn't up until this point, it's within you. And once you realize that, the power that you have, once you realize that God is within you, everything shifts.
Period. What's the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself through your healing journey?
Oh, the most surprising thing that I learned about myself is that I'm creative. I didn't think that I was creative for so long because, oh, you had to be a painter to be creative, or you had to, create music to be creative.
Societal's definition. Yeah.
That definition really swayed me away from self. And once I realized, I'm like, oh, everybody creates. We create every single day with our words, with the way we move, with the way we walk about the world. Our smile at somebody else, you're creating something within them, a spark within them.
Right.
I'm a creative. And as long as I sit in that, it's crazy.
Right.
What can flow through me. I don't have to be one thing.
Right. We don't.
That's
it. Yeah. We don't have to choose. I love that. Okay, last question. If you could host a dinner party with any 1 to 3 people, living or dead, who would they be, and what's one question you would ask them?
Maya Angelou is my top. Londrell, he's an artist.
Okay.
And I would say, let me have a little fun with it. Londrell. Shirley Wright.
Okay. And what would be one question?
One question to each of them, or
just one question? And
one question that I would ask them is, how does it look to just be without constraints, without judgment?
Yeah.
How does it look to just exist?
Yeah. Because I don't know Londrell, but I know Shirley Wright, and I know Maya Angelou. They were just them.
Just them.
Yeah.
No matter what.
They could just be.
Just be.
I love that.
Be yourself, no matter how that looks. No matter if you calling Barbara on the phone one day, or if you Maya.
We're gonna get into that in this next. Any last words you want to share before we wrap this up?
My last words would be, just be yourself. I had to learn that the hard way. So if I could teach people that, the easy route, it should just be, and then doing will come after. Don't try to do and then be.
Yeah.
Be.
Yeah.
Be still. Be who you are.
Yes.
And then the doing will come naturally.
Yeah.
It will flow after that.
Yeah.
But as long as you just try to do, and then try to be an artist or be a singer, be a songwriter, be whatever, it'll be hard.
Yeah. That's so deep, girl. Okay, y'all. The shift is happening now.
The shift is happening. It already happened. The shift happened, baby.
Oh, goodness. Thank you.